Hello my friends and welcome back to another video where today we are going to be looking at 5 interesting facts and general pieces of information about the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series. Even though in the title it does say facts, some bits are just interesting pieces of information and rumours. But without further ado, let's get right into it. In at number 5, we have that the show is apparently rumoured to start with a monologue from a non-returning male voice. So this isn't confirmed yet, and this bit of information is in fact just under a year ago, but originally came from this Reddit user on r/Lord of the Rings on Prime subreddit, where the title was "Show rumoured to start with a monologue from a non-returning male voice." Then he went on to say, "From those/all that don't know, I leaked a few character names over a year ago that there were then later confirmed when some of the first actors were announced, and that was the Eldian, so all those names this person actually was correctly said a year earlier." So yeah, that probably shows that he does have quite good validity if he was able to say that a year before. All the biggest sites like The Independent and we knew from Night Edge Media, they both said that these cast names of Eldian, etc. and Beldor. But then he went on to say this: "I recently heard another rumour of an actor with a part of doing a monologue at the very beginning of the series, presumably similar to Cate Blanchett in The Fellowship. This actor doesn't have any role in the show," so maybe then he goes on to saying some random stuff about being Tolkien that doesn't make any sense. But the main part is that apparently there's going to be a male monologue at the start of the show. And of course this was 260 days ago, so this could have easily changed by then. I think the user even said that in a more recent comment recently. But anyways, if that is the case, that is a quite interesting approach from Amazon, because I don't really see why. You could have just done a character, maybe. It made sense even if Galadriel Morpho Clark did it. You maybe had Celebrimbor, just anyone do a opening monologue. But having maybe they've used a non-returning male actor, maybe just to take away, maybe he's more of a narrator. But yeah, that's one of the more interesting ones. In at number 4, we have that Amazon hired a location scout who spent many months looking for locations in Scotland for the show. So, I'm sure some of you know that for a while, it was looking like the show would be primarily filmed in Scotland. But for several months in late 2018 to early 2019, location scout Joshua Benedetti scouted for several months in Scotland for the show and looked at different places for certain things. For example, if he was looking for places that maybe scenes for Lothlorien could be filmed, or Linden or Newman or etc, maybe some coastlines in Scotland, etc. So first of all, who is Benedetti? Benedetti is a heavily experienced and talented location scout who is one of the lead location managers for Marvel Studios and for many of their projects. So for example, I think some of their Spider-Man films, and also for many Star Wars projects as well, and a lot that are coming out soon. So he's very renowned in the industry, which leads me to believe that Scotland was heavily thought of by Amazon, as you don't hire one of the leading location scouts in the world for just a 4 to 5 month break trip to Scotland. So yeah, it looks like that Amazon were really thinking of filming in Scotland, and that they made this location scout spend so much time in there looking for places. But as you know, that now that did not come to fruition, as Amazon are now using New Zealand for filming. In at number 3, we have that Morpho Clark, who is said to be playing a younger version of Galadriel in The Lord of the Rings on Prime, and who is also 32 years old, is actually 2 years older than Cate Blanchett was when she filmed principal photography for Jackson's Lord of the Rings film trilogy and portrayed the character of Galadriel for the first time. This is more of a fun trivia fact rather than actually anything meaningful or impactful. In at number 2, we actually have some comments made by John Howe all the way back in 2019 with a Narnia fan site, where he spoke about having actually being faithful to the existing film trilogies as well. But here it is, the question was, are you contributing to the Narnia TV show in the works for Netflix or the Lord of the Rings series for Amazon? He said, I am contributing to the Amazon project. I've been working on it for a while and we will see how it continues, but I really can't tell you very much about it. Designing the second age is going to be a challenge, and interestingly, the showrunners are determined to remain faithful to the existing trilogies and the spirit of the books. Of course, makes sense for the spirit of the books, but it's interesting that he mentioned the existing trilogies that the showrunners are trying to remain faithful, as there's not much you can really be faithful to the film trilogies. Yes, maybe you have younger versions of characters like Galadriel and Elrond, but there's the time frame between the late third age, or when the Lord of the Rings was set in, and then probably the mid-second age of the show, they're so far detached and there's so hardly going to be any faithfulness that is really hard to see what John Howe actually meant from that comment. Maybe, for example, we saw with J.B. Owner's chair that they may be keeping with like themes, etc. So maybe like the basic lettering, stuff like that. But yeah, maybe that's an interesting point in the direction as well, that there is going to be really that firstly the films, the television show and the films are going to be in continuity with each other as well. This might be art direction wise, could be character wise as well, setting, etc. In at number 1, we have the most updated summary of The Lord of the Rings via Production Weekly, which is basically the biggest catalogue of all the biggest and massive Hollywood productions for films and television shows. So yeah, I think it's like a legal requirement, something, or like it's important if everything's put down here via Production Weekly. And interestingly, if you look at the top right hand corner, the last time it was updated was the 16th of the 4th 2020, and now as of recording we are currently in April, depending when this is released, might be released a month later. But so yeah, we are currently many months after this, but as you can see here, it still gives some quite interesting information. Firstly, the most interesting thing is that location, Auckland Film Studios, New Zealand, then Edinburgh, Scotland is still there. And I was thinking maybe Amazon aren't using Scotland anymore, etc. Or maybe it could be possibly that Amazon are still filming some things in Scotland. For example, I know for a fact that I think I made a video on it quite recently, that Sir Lenny Henry has not been in New Zealand once yet. So maybe he's filming his stuff down in Scotland. But as you see there, it has been updated as of the 4th, and the Amazon being filmed in New Zealand was actually released in 2019, so they would have time to remove that. But moving on, here are like all the places. You have Camus Film Studios, then you have Apache's Entertainment, and I think that is the Spanish one, and the one maybe that's with Biona, because he's like a part of the whole Amazon deal and production, so they've got a stake in it. One Fancy Sandwich, I'm not sure what that is. Then you've got True North Media, and finally New Line Cinema. So these are all the official production crews and companies that have are involved in the show there. And also one interesting thing, of course the cast is not updated because it is from last year. Same with the crew members as well, because you know some have joined and some have left. So yeah, this is just the most factual overview, because the title is facts. It's the most factual overview I can actually provide you guys about the Lord of the Rings on Prime. But that's all we have time for in today's video. Please let me know if you want me to do a part 2 of this. I would happily do so. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. But until the next video, my friends, goodbye.